Well, first of all, the People's Progressive Party, Civic, categorically denounce the ongoing campaign of the APNU-AFC alliance in terms of creating the impression that we are, as a government and as a party, tolerating and facilitating corruption at various levels. And if we look at not only the advertisements but statements being made on political platform by their leaders, have been a set of lies, rumors, as well as misinformation. We all know that there are issues in terms of addressing corruption, that you go to have government services and so forth, persons would complain. But to suggest that at the executive level or at the state level, there is this policy of encouraging corruption is a total and ridiculous fabrication that sometimes doesn't even warrant a response. But we find it distressing that instead of focusing on the issues that are important to the electorate, we see now the platform of the APNU-AFC alliance is one in which its leaders and speakers would go up there and make a set of false claims, and these claims are sometimes repeated and regurgitated in sections of the media. Take, for instance, recently at Boston, the APNU leader, presidential candidate David Granger, and others suggesting that government records are not being audited and accounts. A total lie. When this government came into office, there were no audited accounts going back as much as 7 to 10 years. It was this government that reinstated the Auditor General's report of all ministries. It's this government that created an autonomous Auditor General report. The Auditor General no longer would have to present that report to the Minister of Finance, but present it directly to the Public Accounts Committee. It was this government that reformed the Public Procurement Act. And in Guyana, the act that we have does not exist in any part of this hemisphere. And I challenge the APNU-AFC alliance, anyone to contest that fact. We, as a government, we've removed Cabinet from awarding contracts. Cabinet no longer award contracts. This is done by the National Procurement and Tender Administration. And if also we look at the Integrity Commission, the PPP Civic side is the only side in the National Assembly that provides returns to the Integrity Commission. The PNC and the AFC have refused to do so. And in fact, we're challenging the Integrity Commission to proceed in filing charges against these breaches. They have been reluctant in filing the returns, and so if people are going to speak about corruption and accountability and integrity, they have to so demonstrate. And our track record, the evidence is there. You know, they continue to quote this perception index that was done. Perception is one thing. The reality is something else. And the people who carry out that perception index are people who are columnists and advocates of the opposition. And we've had issues in terms of how these surveys have been done from time to time. They go and they take prominent opposition figures such as Clive Thomas and Christopher Ram and engage them. What else would you expect in this regard? So we have this type of manufactured misinformation, a manufactured campaign of corruption, and I want to alert, and we want to alert the electorate that what we have here is an opposition alliance, the APNU-AFC alliance, devoid of ideas. They don't want to focus on the issues, but instead are running around on this bogey of corruption. Yes, there are problems, we admit that, and we have to strengthen different systems, but to say that at the executive and the state level, there's a policy to encourage is ridiculous. It is shameful to say so, as well as other wild claims being made by people, take for instance Moses Nagamutu and so forth. You know, it's very sad that in an election campaign, especially for the young voters, people should be talking about the future and talk about facts, talk about reality, not be conjuring up this type of campaign and this type of hoping that they will have a hysteria, but it wouldn't work. They cannot fault our economic policy, they cannot fault our housing or education, what we do in agriculture, what we're doing to transform the country, our modernization pathway. They cannot fault the fact what the IMF has said, what the World Bank has said about the economy, what the IDB has said about the economy just recently, Republic Bank of Trinidad and Tobago. made it clear that Guyana for them is the best location for investment, and they've been advising people throughout the hemisphere, not even thinking of advising people to put their money in the United States, but rather put their money in Guyana. These are the facts. These are the issues they cannot address. So they'll be jumping around with a false claim, holding people who have grudges against the government, be it a former commissioner of police, be it someone that we would have thrown out from the party for representing drug lords and notorious character. They would now hold on to those elements and those strands of fabrication and hope to play them up. I hope that their campaign will get some life and some momentum. But we want to insist that this campaign be about facts, be about issues, be about the future of this country, and also one that is conducive to an election that is very free, fair, and civil, as we've always maintained.
Ms. Any specific?
No, just that, we all know Mr. Granger is out of touch. And so he has certainly, because of the discussions that have been taking place between the AFC and the APNU, is that they've decided on a specific line. And the specific line is to go after the issue of security and to create this false impression that we have a narco state. And the second line has been the issue of corruption, to create this impression that Guyana is a corrupt society and that the government facilitates and encourages corruption, totally ignoring what the reality is, totally ignoring what the international community has said, totally ignoring that people have recourse now to international organizations and so forth in having these matters addressed. But we know it's election time, and when you have an opposition that is out of ideas, out of plans, some of them can't even present a manifesto yet. That itself speaks volume. I want to challenge them to let us focus on the issues. But they will not focus on the issues because they do not have an answer. They do not have an alternative. What they have is scandal and rumor mongering. For them, the development of this country is about scandals, creating scandals, rumor mongering, and ensuring that they get some sensational headline in the newspapers.